Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, NetJets gets their first Cessna Latitude. Air Canada closes the deal for Bombardier's CS-300. Port Columbus Airport now honors a space hero. Hello, I'm Christopher C. Odom. It's June 30th, 2016, and this is Airborne Unlimited. Cessna has delivered the first fractional Cessna Citation Latitude midsize business jet to NetJets. The delivery represents significant milestones for both NetJets and the Citation product line, as this aircraft represents the 7,000th Citation delivered worldwide. To celebrate this milestone delivery, NetJets and Textron Aviation held a special ceremony at Textron Aviation headquarters in Wichita. During the ceremony, NetJets announced that due to the owner's great response to Latitude, the company has added 50 more options to its initial order placed in 2012, bringing its total order and options up to 200 aircraft. NetJets has been operating two demonstrator aircraft throughout the United States and Europe to showcase the Citation Latitude to NetJets owners ahead of the aircraft entering its fleet. NetJets' first Latitude is expected to enter into service next month and will be part of the fractional provider's North American fleet that includes 4 other Cessna models. Now we move on to the world of airliner sales, and Bombardier and Air Canada announced they have finalized a firm purchase agreement for 45 CS-300 aircraft and options for an additional 30 of the aircraft. Alain Bellemare, President and Chief Executive Officer of Bombardier, said in part, "I'm pleased to officially welcome Air Canada to our CS-300 family of operators as one of our largest customers and early adopters." Calvin Rovan-Nescu, President and Chief Executive Officer of Air Canada, added, "Finalizing CS-300 order is a key element to the Air Canada strategy to build one of the world's youngest and most fuel-efficient fleets. Deliveries are scheduled to begin in late 2019 and extend to 2022. At list price, the firm order for 45 CS-300 aircraft is valued at approximately $3.8 billion. This amount would increase to $6.3 billion should Air Canada exercise all 30 option aircraft." After the break, Port Columbus is now John Glenn Columbus International Airport.
Concorde's recombinant gas RG series sealed battery technology produces a high-performance battery with the advantages of being pre-tested and fully charged at the factory. Find out more about Concorde's entire line of batteries at www.concordebattery.com. Concorde, the heart of your aircraft.
Since the early days of powered flight, pilots have struggled with landing in crosswinds. In fact, crosswinds and wind gusts cause more landing accidents than fog, thunderstorms, and icing combined. That's where the Redbird X-Wind SE comes in. By placing pilots in gusty crosswind conditions for extended periods of time, the X-Wind SE gives instructors all the time they need to teach the pilot the proper techniques for landing in crosswind conditions. For more information on Redbird X-Wind SE and Redbird's entire line of flight training devices, visit www.redbirdflightsimulations.com.
Welcome back. If you'd like to be a supporter of Airborne Unlimited, send an email to jim@aero-news.net. Port Columbus Airport is renamed in a ceremony held earlier this week. The airport will now be known as John Glenn Columbus International Airport in honor of the first American to orbit the Earth. The Columbus Dispatch reports that Glenn, an Ohio native, called the recognition an unexpected honor. In his remarks at the ceremony, he was remembered asking his parents to stop at the airport so that he could watch the airplanes come and go. The name change will become official in September, but the first sign with Glenn's name has already been revealed over a new large video terminal at the center of the ticketing lobby in the airport. It's reported that Glenn kept a private aircraft at Lane Aviation at the airport for decades, only giving up his flying airplane when he turned 90 years old. ANN congratulates this spaceflight pioneer for receiving this recognition. It's Thursday, which means that it's time for an Aero Community Update. Our partnership with EAA grows stronger every year, and while that's obvious to us, this year at EAA AirVenture 2016, everyone will see it. Our ANN coverage of AirVenture 2016 will be like none other before. Key to this is the fact that this year we are showing up with 28 staffers to cover AirVenture in a way that is unique as it is complete. With this kind of coverage, we have the ability to provide more interviews, more general news coverage, and a greatly expanded presence of our Airborne Unlimited video programming. Starting a few days prior to AirVenture 2016, we start our on-property coverage with our AirVenture Innovation Preview programming. It will wet the whistle of the aviation population with 30 to 40 or more short to 3-4 minute online multimedia presentations, offering a glimpse into what will be really new at Oshkosh this year. Jim says the roster is full, but he might have an opening for someone who says what they have is innovative, disruptive, and cool. In case we missed something that is really cool, we are initiating our first time #OSH16Coolest Twitter program that allows you to tweet us about your opinion on what is so cool. No matter what it is, if it's cool to you, it's cool to us. Our Airborne Unlimited online broadcasts will bring daily news updates as usual, but it will be flavored for our mission at AirVenture. This gives us the flexibility of bringing you up-to-date news as it's happening. ANN CEO and Editor-in-Chief Jim Campbell will be hosting a 5-part interview with EAA's Jack Pelton, and he's asking for your help. If there are things you'd like Jim to address when talking with Jack, let us know. There will be hundreds of stories, and at some point Jim says mystery announcements are coming regarding Aero-News Network in the future. Whether you're at Airborne or watching from the outside, you won't want to miss Jim's Oshkosh adventure. After these messages, an electric-powered ducted fan craft designed for manned and drone flight.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Sandia introduces the new SAI 340 Quattro TSO'd airspeed, attitude, altitude, and slip. With integral backup battery, safety never looked so good. See it now at www.sandia.aero.
The aviation industry is full of news, and we're summarizing a few of the other interesting stories in a brief segment we call Around the Patch. A personal aircraft based on ducted fan technology is reportedly in development by AirVenture, which hopes to flight test a prototype drone version this summer. The AirVenture aircraft would be an electric-powered aircraft designed as a commuter system. Air Force Chief of Staff General Mark A. Welsh III stood in front of hundreds of onlookers, all there to bid him farewell. After 40 years of service, Welsh retired from the Air Force during a ceremony June 24th at Joint Base Andrews in Maryland. Space company Blue Origin has broken ground on a rocket manufacturing facility on Merritt Island near Cape Canaveral, Florida. The 750,000 square foot rocket factory is custom built from the ground up to accommodate manufacturing, processing, integration, and testing. Boeing will celebrate its 100th anniversary at the Farnborough International Air Show in July. They will be displaying advanced commercial and defense platforms and presenting a unique exhibit to commemorate its first century and look ahead into the future. A European corporate operator has taken delivery of a new TBM 930 as its fourth TBM family aircraft. Delivered the TBM 930 to the corporate flight department of an Italian-based industrial group this month. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Now let's get back to the rest of the news. Deep space flight comes another step closer to orbital ATK, in partnership with NASA, has successfully completed the second of 2 booster qualification motor tests for NASA's Space Launch System. Preliminary data includes the motor performed well and provided the necessary data toward meeting test objectives. Orbital ATK developed two 5-segment rocket boosters for NASA's Space Launch System, a heavy-lift rocket designed to enable new deep space exploration missions. The motor was cooled to 40 degrees Fahrenheit in order to test its lower temperature capabilities against the expected temperature range in which it may operate. A successful test last spring that validated motor performance at the upper end of the propellant temperature range of 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Lying horizontally in the test stand, the motor is 154 feet in length and 12 feet in diameter and the world's largest human-rated solid rocket motor in existence. These boosters produce 3.6 million pounds of maximum thrust. The first test flight of the Space Launch System and an unmanned Orion spacecraft together is scheduled for late 2018. Well, that's our program for today. Remember to get comprehensive, real-time, 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. Airborne Unlimited is streamed daily, Monday through Friday, with additional breaking news bulletins for important stories that fall outside of our normal deadlines. Please join us and a growing roster of over 100 outstanding industry associations and organizations every weekday for the best in aviation and aerospace news. From the staff of the Aero-News Network, the aviation world's most comprehensive news and information resource. I believe I can fly.